So, good evening, everybody. This evening, we are on the podcast straight from the horse's mouth with Zayna Iman. And Zayna, I tell you, I've been watching everything about you. I've been listening. I've been looking at your tweets. I've been hearing everything. And I've been like, oh my God, what has been going on with this lady?
Dawn,
Well,
I'm going to sum it up for you, right? How many village idiots does it take to silence one woman? All I've ever asked for is 4.5 hours worth of footage, and they're playing out this whole charade cover up in front of like the public, and the public are seeing right through it. This is the thing. But yeah, go.
well, I just want to say that I think the best way for us to start this podcast today
Okay.
is to explain to me, go back to that time and explain to me what happened so that all the listeners can understand and hear exactly from you what has happened to you and your life.
Yeah, like I said, if I start to like go off tangent, it's because people are following my story in real time. But for me, every time I talk about it, every time I tweet about it, every time people have said, oh, Google yourself and your top result, you're above Zayn Malik. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I've been told I'm trending. I don't want to do it. I can see the progress because I can't keep up with my DMs. I can't keep up with my emails. I can't keep up with my phone calls. So I know whatever I'm doing is working. And the messages of support I've read from people that have said, because of you coming forward, we're rooting for you because we were silent and we couldn't come forward. We were too ashamed. Nobody would believe us. So we're seeing you as inspiration, because if you could do it with your background on paper, nobody would have believed me. Yeah. And this is what they were relying on. Yeah. So, like I said, if I can do it, people, right? Anybody can. So anyway, so we're going back to 2021, 5th of February. Lockdown, like a lot of people, lockdown was, it didn't suit me. And I didn't like it, and I struggled with it. So I remember, because I'm naturally a very, very happy person. So, and I like my own company as well, but I got bored. I'd not been out the house for 2 days and I'd had no visitors. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to have a party by myself. And I got high, I'm not going to lie, but it's so important for me to admit that I got high, just so I can paint the picture that nobody passes out on cocaine like I did. And that would explain why certain things are missing, right? So anyway, got high on cocaine, and then I decided to FaceTime a friend. I was dead giddy, dead happy. The friend had never seen me intoxicated before, because I don't even drink. I was a recreational user. That's it. Don't use anymore, by the way, guys. But I've always wanted transparency from the authorities. So I need to be transparent, because if I'm caught out lying, that's exactly what they're going to use against me further down the line. So I need to put all my skeletons out, so there's nothing that you can use against me. And people either embrace it or they berate it. But you know what? I've been very, very lucky. So many people relate to my story I'm covering. I don't want to be pigeonholed into a box. I'm not part of any movement, any group. I'm just a woman who was spiked and sexually assaulted. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Right. I don't want to focus on me past, on my background, because that's irrelevant. I want to focus on the present and the future, because the present and the future, I promise you, people, I will make a change. And I think I'm already doing it. So I've been told, because I don't, like I said, I try not to Google myself, because it's my life being played out in real time, and people can see that there's a cover up going on in real time. And I think that's why people are so immersed in the story, because how to put it? because my case is ongoing, or the investigation is ongoing. All you had to do was release the footage. But anyway, the investigation is ongoing and there's an inquiry going on, and they're going to be releasing a new statement soon. And my story is going to be consistently in the press. There's obviously going to be ups and downs, but you're going to be seeing a lot more of me, because at the moment I'm causing a lot of fuss because I've got nothing to lose, people. I put degrading footage of myself online, and whilst a lot of rape victims get to retain their anonymity, for me, I had to make the choice to waive my right to anonymity because I had enough. Enough was enough. And I thought, if we all continue to be scared, nothing is ever going to change. It's got to take one person to speak up. And we've done it. We've done it. One person speaks up, another one does, another one does, another one does. Right. So for me, I've been the sacrificial lamb. I've taken a gamble. I've put all that stuff that you've seen online. If you Google my name, I'm everywhere for a reason, And that's going to be with me in 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So this is always going to be with me. But I finally feel at peace with the decision. So anyway, I told you I would go off tangent because it's hard to talk about it. So I'm so sorry.
Zayna, you don't ever have to be sorry. We
I
are
know, I
all
know, I know,
rooting for you
I
and for
know.
the truth to come out.
And do you know what? I am smiling, but the reason I'm smiling, I'm talking about a traumatic experience, but I know the positive change I'm making, because I can't post everything online. And I know I'm going to get there because everyone's backing me. As long as everyone backs me, I've got it. And if I make it, I open doors for everybody. But I'm at a stage now, it has to be a collective effort. You can't just leave me to do this alone, because they're going to throw me under the bus, because I've opened my mouth and I've gone above the parapet. There's no going back now. So I'm going to keep at it. So anyway, 5th of February, made a FaceTime call to a friend, and he'd never seen me intoxicated before. He panicked. He's like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? So he's called 999. So I was living in Salford, Greater Manchester at the time. This friend was based in Sheffield. So he'd rang 999. The call was diverted to Greater Manchester Police. After speaking to my friend, so I believe, don't quote me on the exact times, because like I said, I've been so hectic, but I'm going to try to remember them as best as I can. So 12:28 a.m. on the 5th of February 2021, Greater Manchester Police, after speaking to my friend, requested an ambulance. Right. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So it's a check on welfare, Greater Manchester Police themselves requesting an ambulance. And yes, people, I have their phone call to the Northwest Ambulance Service. So this was at 12:28, and that call is roughly 3 minutes long. And they went through the usual, we don't believe she's got COVID, no history of violence, things like that, you know. And they said, female lives alone kind of thing. So they built a picture to ensure the ambulance staff knew what they were walking into. Anyway, and it said no mental health issues. I'd like to emphasize that, no mental health issues. So they rang them at 12:28. Call lasted roughly 3 to 4 minutes. And then at 12:45, I saw flashing blue lights. I could see the reflection in the window. Yeah, I could see the reflection. I thought, oh, okay, ambulance is here. Because you know what? I think I was being a hypochondriac. You know, like when you're ill and somebody says, how are you feeling? And you're like, sorry, my dog's just clawing at me. When people say, how are you feeling? And you say, I feel like I'm dying. It was one of those. I think I just had a bit too much cocaine, to be fair. So physically, I felt unwell. But mentally, there was nothing wrong with me. I'd like to emphasize that. So what I've done is I've looked through the hallway window, and I've seen all these faces out there. And at the time, I'd only seen 2 vehicles. But now I know, for a check on welfare, people, to a single woman who lives alone, no history of violence, they sent 2 police vans, 1 police car, 4 male officers, and a female officer. So you can imagine that scared me. I was like, no, I'm not letting you in, because I've never had, because of my background, which is documented on the certain podcasts. So if you Google me, you'll find it on different podcasts. Just do your own research. And the reason I'm saying to people, do your own research, is because you hear my story from my mouth, not what everybody else is saying, you know. And I've refused them entry for about an hour. And I'm getting like, I'm saying, no, I don't want you here, go away. And because they weren't going away, I thought, you know what, I've been bored, I'm going to entertain them, right? So just like saying, oh, you come here, and talking to them, and what you come here, and they were doing everything I was saying, and they just stood there, says, why is here? Go away. So anybody that knows me personally knows I'm quite childish naturally. This experience has literally drained the life out of me, and I'm trying to get my life back. Do you understand? So when I get hyper, and when I'm happy and I'm giggling and I'm smiling, it's because that's my natural disposition. Yeah. And when I'm crying and I'm whatever, that's the trauma. And for some reason, anytime I anything to do with the police, I get Tourette's. Normally I don't swear. That's me. But so I refused the entry, and I'm getting really frustrated with them. When I thought, in the hypochondriac way, I was like, well, I don't actually feel too good because I've had too much, so maybe I should let them in. But in my head, I thought, right, I'm going to see if I can trust them. And for some weird reason, don't judge me, people, but I've got to emphasize this, right? So at just around the hour mark, right, what I've done is I thought, if I flash them and they don't laugh, I know I'm all right to let them in. Like I said, I've had bad experiences with the police that are well documented in the data that I've got, with, right, because of my background. So I've always been like a little target for them, because I'm vulnerable on paper. And I've decided to flash them. And almost immediately, the side doors of my property have gone through. They've walked in through the kitchen. I remember one was hurting me. I think he was grabbing onto my arm. And I said words to the effect of, "Oi, what you doing that for?" Then another one's lift me up like I'm a little child. I was like about 8 stones back then, 8.5 stones, 5'5", placed me in the kitchen. They surrounded me, right? So they broke in at 1:50 people, 12:45, they came outside my house. They broke in at 1:50 a.m., right? Within 3 to 6 minutes of being in my property, I've been arrested for swiping the glasses. So bear in mind, I didn't want them there. I was telling them to go away. They've got 2 to 3 different reasons for breaking in, because they're lying. So on different documents, it says different reasons for why they broke in. And the only reason they broke in was because I flashed them, and conveniently, they've not provided the body worn video for the flash that shows that's the exact moment that they broke in, just almost immediately. So they've surrounded me, and I remember that I was intimidated, but I was still in a happy mood because I was high. So I'm looking around and I'm quite bewildered, because all I had heard was a bang, which was the barrel of the side of the property door falling on the floor. And then it made me jump. And I remember all these like people walking through my house, and I'm picking me up and just placing me in the kitchen, surrounding me. So when they said, "What we taking?" I'm like, "Drugs, cocaine." You could tell that I was clearly high. I was just like, and I was dead happy and giggly. And for some reason, because I was so bewildered by all these people in my house, and they've just broken in, despite me telling them not, I didn't want them there. The woman, when they've asked me, "What have you taken?" and I'm right, drugs, cocaine, the female, for some reason, her glasses looked really big on her face, and they were too big, to be fair. Probably did her a favor, but I swiped them. I didn't physically touch her. I swiped them like a child would. You know, when you pick a child up and then just like playing with your hair and doing, yeah, just like they're childish. The thing is, right, because the footage, when it's on the media, they have to like try to condense it but still show the same picture, because if they played entire footage, people are going to get bored. No one's got like all day to watch one piece, you're going to switch off. So they've got to try to compact it. But I believe Channel 4 and Sky News did a very, very good job at what they did to portray what was happening. But so I've been arrested in between 1:53, 1:56. So like I said, 12:28, after the check on the call from a friend from Sheffield, Greater Manchester Police have then at 12:28 requested an ambulance. And then at 12:45, they send a convoy of vehicles for just me. So people have now seen me because I've been quite, just for me, really. You don't need that. I'm gobby, but I'm not violent. So I've been arrested within 3 to 6 minutes of them being in the property. And the reason I say 3 to 6 minutes, because none of the documentation is consistent. It's very all over the place and there's no rhyme or rhythm to it. You're hearing it from me, no rhyme or rhythm to it. It smacks of a cover-up, but we'll get to that later. But they've dragged me out the house. So that when I've swiped the glasses, they put the handcuffs on my back, lifted my arms all the way to the back, so my arms were hurting, pushed my head down, right? Bear in mind, they knew that an ambulance was en route. So if I was a medical emergency, to treat me like that, you're wrong. And they've carried me out of the house like this, barefoot. But so this is private footage that I've received from a local business. I know that there was one in front of me, two at the side of me, one behind me, and I'm handcuffed. And then what they've done is, I remember like saying, but I don't need you, when they were shoving me in the van, because I couldn't understand why they were there. And I'm sure Sky News has got that little bit. Don't quote me on the exact words in people, because like I said, I'm telling the story, but I'm replaying what was happening. So sometimes it's hard. So if I start making jokes about it, it's to make it easier for me to explain what happened.
No worries. Zayna, can I just interrupt you there? And just for the people who are listening to this podcast today, can you explain to the people out there who don't know what cocaine makes you feel like, what you act like, and what persona it gives you?
It's a stimulant. So like it puts you on a high. So you're wide awake, and you're alert. And you don't sleep on it. But it's just a high. And to maintain the high, you've got to keep having a line. Do you get what I mean? But as high as I was, right? So I've been placed in the vehicle, right? Placed in the vehicle, and they've shoved me in. And I'm like, I don't want you. They've shoved me in the vehicle quite aggressively. Yeah. And then they've closed the doors. And this was at 1:59 a.m. on the 5th of February, 2021. Anyway, so I remember from my memory recall, like thinking, oh my God, what has just happened? But I was still high at this point. I'm like, what has just happened? So I'm just looking down at my feet. I'm thinking, I've not even got any bloody shoes on, but I was high. Like, I've not even got any shoes on. And like I said, anybody that knows me personally knows I'm quite quirky personality-wise, but I've got to tone it down for the public, purely because I don't want Greater Manchester Police to say, oh, you see, she's insane. It's not. My personality and my intelligence levels are two different things, and I can tailor it to the audience I'm speaking to usually, but I don't like to be fake, and I feel like I have to be fake and I can't be myself, because different people are expecting me to portray my story in a different way. And I just want to be myself and like say it the way I want to say it. And this is the reason I'm doing the podcast more than, because I'm able to say more, and I'm allowed to express my personality more, and I don't have to have no airs and graces. Do you know what I mean? So I can give a raw account. So anyway, so 1:59, they placed me in the vehicle, doors are shut. I remember looking down thinking, why have I not got any shoes on? But my memory, I remember, right, so I don't know if anyone's been in a police van before, right? So when you're put in the back, it's like a cage. So there's like, it's accessible from two angles. So you can access it via the side. So you come into the side and you can open, I think you can open it up and get access, but it's a cage. So you like you're a dog and you've been placed in a cage, and it's got two, rather than having 4 access points, it's just got 2 here. And I remember the door going a couple of times, but I can't remember if it went like once, twice, or like, but I know the door went, and I can't remember if I remember seeing somebody come in, because I've now seen the local business footage, so I know somebody came in. So anyway, got the local shop business, and what it shows is after I've been placed in the van, there's an officer that joins me in the back, but via the side. But I remember, so bearing people right in mind, right? I've explained what cocaine does. If you don't know what it does, Google it, sleep habits, whatnot, right? So I'm sat there in the van and I hear these doors going. But I remember as soon as the vehicle started moving, right? And it's dead weird because, like I said, I was a recreational user. And I think the reason I got most of my memory back because I had a higher level of tolerance than most other people. So kind of, it was a blessing in disguise. So when people are judging me for being honest, mate, this is what's helping me right now. Anyway, so I remember when the vehicle started moving, and I remember I'm like going like this, and my head's going like this, and my vision's becoming blurry, but I felt quite euphoric. And the only way I can describe it is, if you've ever been under general anesthetic when they count down to the 10, 9, 8, and you're under without even knowing. So I'm like this, complete blackout, people. I don't remember a thing from that moment. I don't remember a thing at that point. So this happened in the vehicle within minutes of me being in it. And that's my memory recall. But Greater Manchester Police have not released the footage. So I'm adamantly saying that's my memory. But because I've been gaslit and stonewalled so much, I question my own memories. So I needed the footage, and they won't give me the footage. That I know my memories aren't wrong, and I'll explain why in a bit. So anyway, right, the next sighting of me, people. So I'm going to say the street name, and I have said the full address before, purely because I now live in Sheffield. I don't live there anymore, so please don't turn up there trying to look for me or anything, because I've talked too much. But Swinton Park Road to Pendleton Police Station, both in M6, Manchester 6. Google it. I gave him a benefit of the doubt. I gave him 10 minutes to get there just in case. Yeah. Somebody Googled it on Twitter. They said, oh, if it was during lockdown, there's no traffic. I've just Googled how long it takes from that property to the police station, 6 minutes. So I'm placed in the back of the vehicle, wide awake. Yeah. At 1:59, footage cuts out. The next available footage for me is at 3:26 a.m. Listen, 3:26 a.m. And that's the strip search videos that you guys see on television. I'm completely gone. I'm not even asleep because an oversized officer fell on me whilst doing the strip search. And bear in mind, what you see on television doesn't actually emphasize how brutal the strip search was. I was unconscious, like completely lifeless. My head, every time they're moving, my head's like this. They're putting their hand on my face, on my back, of my head. Basically, people that have seen the footage, they said because I was unresponsive and what they've done, it was very, and I don't mean this in a bad way or controversial way, but it was very George Floyd-esque. Like, do you know what I mean? They could have killed me the way they were doing. So Greater Manchester Police's rationale for taking me clothes off, right, stripping me naked, cutting me underwear, pulling me jeans down, cutting me underwear off, coming out whilst I'm lifeless and handcuffed, face down on 2 mattresses, is we did it for her safety. Now, it is Dawn, isn't it? Sorry, yeah, Dawn. Dawn, if I met you and you passed out, right, my first thought's going to be, I don't know first aid. I'm ringing an ambulance or getting you medical assistance. I'm not going to think, oh, she's passed out for her safety. Let me pull her jeans off and cut her knickers and bra off, and then I don't get the logic that Greater Manchester Police are using. But then what makes it worse is, right, they've started to put some shorts on me with the belt. So I'm not being funny, but there's more chance of me hanging myself with a belt than frilly knickers that I were wearing that used to cut off. Anyway, right, so I'm completely lifeless. But what's weird is, right, so it's hard to explain footage when you've not seen it. So apparently I do a fairly good job at like giving you a picture of what happens, but people who have seen me footage do not disbelieve what I am saying, right? So when they've done what they've needed to do, so they've left me topless and I'm in these oversized shorts and hands behind my back. They've even took me piercing out, hands behind my back. They've used a metal detector on me as well. And this isn't a strip search, by the way, guys, right? According to the Assistant Chief Constable for Greater Manchester Police. They can't even name the legislation that they use. They said it was done under a different legislation. We've been waiting for weeks for the answer to what legislation. This is how much they've lied. Anyway, right. So when they were holding my legs down, and I'm still unconscious at this point. So there's about 3 of them, I think 2 to either side and 1 holding my feet down. It was like they were expecting me to wake up. So this, if you watch the footage itself, it's like they're expecting me to wake up. So it's like, right, we're going to count to 3. I can't hear them because I'm not gave the footage, right, the audio conveniently. But when you're watching it, you can imagine them saying, right, she's going to wake up any minute. Right, so we'll count to 3 and we'll run. 1, 2, 3. They've got out the station. Well, out of the cell. Sorry, not out of the station. Sorry, out of the cell. And that is that point. I'm starting to move. I'm like kind of like coming round. So I woke up and I'm looking around. I'm looking down. I'm like, I've got no top on. And I'm looking around, and at that point, I could not remember why I was in a police cell. Why I was half naked, and in my head I thought, oh my God, I'm in a police station. Have I left the house naked? I didn't remember, but I want to emphasize to people, I've never said that I was raped in the van or en route to the police station. I've only ever questioned why it's taken that long and why they've not provided the footage for that period. But I had amnesia when I woke up. I couldn't remember. I was high on cocaine an hour and a half earlier. I shouldn't have been in that state. Google the after effects, right? So anyway, I'm confused roughly for about half an hour, but there's a clear period, right? So they've gave me a blanket. I've been prompted to put a top on, and you see me in the cell going like this, like, and I'm really sad because I don't know what's thinking, but I keep going back and forward to the cell hatch, and I'm saying, why am I here? Why am I here? I want to go home. Why am I here? They're not giving me any answers. They're not explaining to me why I'm here. And I'm like, I want to go home. Can I go home, please? I'm pleading with them. Can I go home? There was a clear period of sobriety in my footage for 5 hours, approximately 5 hours, people. I'm fully dressed because I've been prompted to get dressed. I've apparently woken up from some sleep I've had, right? I'm fully dressed. I'm talking and I'm normal. My behavior is normal for 5 hours. So I know it's not the cocaine that's caused the drug-induced psychosis that they've put on my medical records. And I want to highlight people, what happens next is all from the police station in terms of the sections. Right, so shortly before 10 a.m, and I think this footage is on the Sky News thing, right? So for the 9 a.m. footage, sorry, let me go back a bit. For the 9 a.m. footage, I'm sat on the cell bed the whole time, and I'm talking to somebody at the door constantly. Now, I believe that this is the officers were asking me questions, like trying to gauge certain information. So Zayna, who do you live with? I'm like, you know, I live by myself. You removed my next of kin the previous year. I'm like, can I go home now? Please let me go home. And then they're asking me stuff like, personal stuff about my background, but all the questions they were asking, I'm like, you already know this. My life is on your background, on your database. Now, I want to emphasize to people, on paper, I'm classified as vulnerable. So GMP knew about my domestic violence background. They knew about the abuse and stuff and the industry that I used to work in. They knew my entire history. So for them to ask me these questions, it just didn't make sense. So the moment where you guys see me on Sky throwing the hot drink, I never drank out the hot drink. And my memory is the plastic water cups, not the hot drinks. And they gave me a lot of water cups. But so I believe that it was the water that was contaminated, not the hot drink that I throw. But I remember the question, like, so for me, normally when I get angry, I don't hit people. I'll throw something or kick something out of frustration. I won't ever hit anybody. Yeah. just for the sake of it, right? So I remember the question that antagonized me and got me really upset is, I remember an officer saying to me, so he's asking me all these like weird questions that I feel were inappropriate, but I didn't cotton on at that point. And when he said to me, Zayna, have you, I don't mention the person's name, do you know, I don't like to mention the person who made the 999 call, but the exact thing that they said, have you and such a body had anal sex before? So normally what I say, they've asked me the question, have I had anal sex before? So bear in mind, people, I'm sober at this point. I've sobered up. Cocaine highs don't last that long. Don't know about the whatever happened in the vehicle. I don't know, because I can't remember, so I'm not going to make assumptions, but why did it take that long and where is that footage? Anyway, and why did I have amnesia? I remember, and I'm like thinking, and I'm quite chatty. I talk a lot. That's my natural personality. Before we came on here, I couldn't shut up, could I? That's my personality. I just talk, and a bit of a chatterbox, and I can overtalk anybody. And I remember going quiet. I'm thinking, have I heard this right? And I looked at him, and he had a smirk on his face, kind of thing. And it was that point I knew I were in trouble. And I believe, I can't confirm it, but this is, all my memories go in line with, I've seen the footage and I've placed the memories in the relevant order. So this is the moment I've gone, right, and I realized and I knew I was in trouble. So I've gone like that, and I've gone like that. You see me go like that. I knew I was in trouble. Footage cuts out for an hour, so the 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and GMP have recently, so Wednesday just gone, which was it Wednesday? Was it the 2nd on Wednesday? Yeah, I think it was the 2nd of August. Only now Greater Manchester Police have confirmed that the 10 a.m. footage has been corrupted. A day after I spoke publicly and said that they were never going to give me it because I know what's on it, I would have already had it. And a day after the independent article came in about the missing hours, the file's corrupted. So 10 a.m. goes missing. Footage comes back on at 11 a.m. And I'm not kidding you, right? I'm going to demonstrate, and I hope people don't like judge me for this, but Google the effect of date rape. Yeah, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm naked. I've got no top on again. There's no evidence of me taking my top off. And I don't know why I was doing all this. And I'm looking, and I had to watch this footage because when GMP released what they did have released to me, they sent it deliberately, all jumbled up, as mentioned in Sky. They sent me footage for the 7th. I was only there on the 5th and the 6th. Yeah. Anyway, carries on, and I've watched the footage. What they've then decided to do, I believe, right, don't get me the times like 100%, but this is just from the best of my memory. I might get the 2 days mixed up, but at 4, I believe it was 4:30 on the first day, they've put me on a section 136. And a 136 is a police power where they can detain people under the Mental Health Act and take them to a place of safety. But this is what I've been told. I'm not a mental health professional, but if anybody can research that and give me the accurate details, come back at me. A 136, but my knowledge when I Googled it, a 136 section is when you're out in the public and then they can take you to a place of safety. They can't apply the 136 when you're in a place of safety. So they weren't able to do it at my house. So they needed to arrest me. Okay. They weren't supposed to do it at the police station, but they needed to do it, right? So this was at 4:30. And then what they've done is I've got the documentation, and they're like, section 136 is running out. We need to get us onto a section 2. So they're called mental health professionals in. And I want to emphasize to people, yeah, you have watched me videos, right? You have watched me on the news, and clearly sometimes when I'm talking about it in certain periods because of all the stress that they've put me through, right? I'm documenting my journey in real time. So if I look like shit because of the stress that they put me in, I'm letting them use it. I want people to see, because another rape victim's going to know and look at me and know, another person that's been abused is going to look at me and know that I'm not lying, and I need to show the raw story. I don't want to be using like filters and like Instagram type of pictures. I want people to get to know me and know my story, not the cover up that's going on. This is the reason I've gone public, just to safeguard others, because I just want to emphasize, this weekend marked 30 months since my allegations. So I don't have like, I call them anniversary dates. So every month I have an anniversary, and for me that's really triggering, because I feel like I've not done enough. Because guess what, guys, 30 months down the line, them officers are still serving. No one's been suspended, no one's been sacked. They're doing all this melodrama to cover up for these officers. But in the 30 months period, I want to ask people, question yourself, right? I'm not bad looking. People actually say I'm better looking in real life. The camera's not my friend, but I'm not a supermodel, right? And they know I'm not being funny, but the police normally like I'm young. I'm 38. Right. So this was just an opportunity, right? So I wouldn't say this had anything to do with race, or I was just the perfect victim, like no family, lives alone, she's high on coke. They knew my whole background. I was perfect. I was the type of person that would not speak out because of my background. I was the perfect target. Yeah. And I'm actually surprised I'm talking so openly about it, because I think, oh, I can't believe I've done that. But I've done it now. There's no going back. And I'm going to milk it now to make a change. Don't care. Can't shut me up. I've opened my mouth now. You can't shut me up. So they've called in mental health professionals to put me on a Section 2, because their 136 was running out. I've got the documentation for this, people. They've kind of like portrayed the image to the mental health team. I don't know if I'm not saying that the mental health team was complicit, but they portrayed an image to the mental health team that Miss Iman is extremely violent and volatile. You must not go into the cell. It's not safe to go into the cell. I've got the footage for that hour. I'm masturbating.
In the cell.
Yeah. I'm sexual. I can't remember if I'm semi-dressed or fully naked. I believe I'm fully naked at this hour, but like I said, don't quote me on it. So they've put me on a Section 2. A Section 2 is a mental health section that it's used for observations and assessments. Okay. Then the following day, at 1 p.m, I believe it was. Yeah, it's at 1 p.m. The footage cuts out again. So, right, people, do you know when you watch, if you've not seen the video, when you watch channel Sky News, the Sky News piece on me, you see a video little clip where you see me look up at the camera, and I look like a zombie. I look scary as hell, and I'm like looking at the camera, and I just look like I'm in fear, like I've seen a ghost, like I'm whatever. The footage cuts out again for an hour. Yeah, an hour. The next day, they've put me on another 136, right? Another 13 police section, another 136 section. And I believe this was at 3:30 p.m. Okay. Right. And I want to clarify, I've got my medical records, my medical history for like from all localities I've lived under, no mental health issues, pre-GMP, no mental health issues, post-GMP. Come on, guys, you've seen me on telly. I'm bright as a button. Okay. I'm not mentally ill, but this is what they did to, I think this is what they were hoping I wouldn't speak out, and even if I did speak out, who's going to listen to somebody that's been sectioned? Do you get what I mean? So all 3 sections happened at the police station. I want to emphasize this to people, at Pendleton, not at the hospital where they later dumped me after they used and abused me, right? They happened at the hospital, at the police station, sorry. So I have like memories, like So I'm going to talk a couple of snippets of my memories, right? I remember one memory where this was towards the end of my stay with them. I swiped my hand, I'm completely naked. I swiped my hand back to front and I've shown an officer the blood and he was at the door and all I've gone is like this. I was in pain, right? I remember just seeing the look of horror on his face and I kind of like felt like he had a bit of remorse, like what have we done to this girl, you know, like she came in high and all of a sudden, do you know what I mean? What have we done to her? He's gone back and he's called another 2 people and they've said, right, get her out. You need to get her out now. But just before that, one of my memories is, so I believe, I don't remember what happened in the van. I just remember being put in high and then completely passing out, blackout period. I've never regained the memory of the van or the custody front desk. And I believe I was unconscious on arrival, and GMP have not to date been able to prove otherwise because it doesn't take that long, right? So the hour that's missing, the first hour on the 5th, is when my behavior changed from normal footage missing to sexual as fuck. Sorry for swearing, but I need to emphasize what they've done, right? Then they've put me on a section, then they've had me sectioned again. Then there's another hour missing, then they've had me sectioned again. But I can't remember if I've mentioned this in public. I know now that I'm out. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the shorts. Sorry. Like I said, I'm replaying some of the images in my head whilst I'm talking to you. The custody shorts. I remember I remember the memories that I've got, and I don't want to go into too explicit details, but I remember I was compliant and I was up for it. So I was doing everything that was asked of me, everything that was asked for me. And I was doing stuff that I personally is not my thing. Yeah. And the footage that I had that has been released where I'm by myself in the cell. And bear in mind, people, these people have not given me audio, and audio, like Channel 4 said, comes as standard. I remember the officers like coming to the cell. I was like their entertainment piece for the night, you know. I think on day 1 they had about 7 people in, and day 2 they had about 5 people because it was lockdown. So they weren't understaffed or anything like that. They were probably bored shitless and they needed entertainment. And guess who was the entertainment? Me, right? It was humiliation, it was degradation, but I was on that, whatever it was, and I don't even know much about date rape. I just know that they do have that kind of effect. So that was one. And then the other memory is, right, so when I started resisting, right, there was my custody shorts, right, and I don't know what it is. If I smell it again, I'd know what it is, but I can't describe it. So I'm going to try to describe it the closest I can. But it's not that smell, if that makes sense. So I don't know if anybody knows what poppers smell like, right? So poppers, so it's like a chemically smell on the shorts. So when I was resisting, they were using it to smother my face with it, right? That's one of my flashbacks, right? That's one of my flashbacks. And I want to emphasize something. I'm going to tell you something else that backs up my memory. So remind me to say the subject access request details because I might forget. So there are a couple of my memories, right? I'm not mentioning them all because why should I? I'm actively saying that at some point during my detention with Greater Manchester Police on the 5th, in between the 5th and 6th of February 2021, I was drugged and sexually assaulted. Prove me wrong. On Wednesday just gone, the 2 hours that I alleged I was drugged and sexually assaulted in has been corrupted. It took you over 30 months now. We're over the 30-month mark now to tell me that. I've been fighting for it since February 2021, and I requested it to aid my memory recall. I've always known that it happened at the police station, right? I've always known because the flashbacks were always there, but I couldn't get my head round the fact that the police would actually stoop that low. I knew that they weren't good, because from my personal experience, and I've never been charged with a crime bit, people, just to emphasize that. And somebody said to me, Zayna, you've not emphasized one bit. I says, what bit? The fact that you weren't charged with anything. I've never been charged with a crime. Never. I've got a simple caution for a possession of a Class A for personal use. With my background, that's pretty good. That's amazing. I'm being honest and I'm being upfront with you. Yeah. Anyway, I was a recreational user, not a continuous user like some people are trying to say. But anyway, right. So now I know my friends turned up at roughly 4:30, and they were like, no one's telling us where she is. Where is she? What's happening? Right. We've only just managed to locate her. Because these two white males weren't my next of kins, nobody were giving them any information, because they're not obliged to give them information. But like I said, GMP knew that my next of kin had been removed from my property the previous year. We weren't on speaking terms, and we're still not. Right. And within 2 to 3 hours of that, they've used and abused me, like they've shoved me in a psychiatric unit. I turned up in a psychiatric unit, completely incoherent, could not speak. And I was like, oh, really erratic, like, but I was trying to explain stuff and none of my words were coming around outright. The only word, I think I managed to say rape, and because I made comments about rape and they understood that. Oh, sorry, I've skipped a memory. Well, skipped something that I wanted to tell. I can't put in, right, before the custody shorts that were used, right? So I've got another memory, and the only thing, when I was getting ready to leave the station, right, and I didn't know what was happening at this point, but when I was getting ready to leave the station, I was still naked, right? So they've gave me joggers and a jumper to wear, and my custody short and my custody top were on the floor. They've asked me for the custody shorts, right? And they bagged them up. That was my memory, okay? My memory. And they bagged them up, right? I've got proof of this memory, because I released the footage was released after. So anyway, I remember walking out the station, and right, have a look at the podcast I've done. I've been open about my whole background purely because I don't want them to have anything that they can use to discredit me. So if I've been open about it and told everybody, they can never discredit me. I'm an open book, people. Obviously, I'm not going to document my next steps because I'm not that stupid, because they're going to be monitoring what I'm saying, because I've made serious allegations against them. People, these are not allegations. I'm actually saying it. Some point during my detention, I was drugged and sexually assaulted. And the fact that that file, the exact 2 hours, are corrupt. Use your brain. Use your brain. They've had over 30 months. You'd think that they'd at least be able to doctor it or something and just give it to me just to shut me up, so I leave them alone, because I'm an absolute pain in the ass for them at the moment. But no. So anyway, I remember walking out the station, and I was in agony down there, both sides, agony. I've never felt pain like that before. Never felt pain. I was struggling to walk, and I remember as I was doing the walk out of the station, they were all smirking, and there's one that goes, "Hiya, Zayna, remember me? Bye." And I remember looking at him and thinking, "You're a bad man. You've done something to me," but I couldn't remember what he'd done. I don't know why I thought that. Anyway, I've been taken out. I've been placed in a vehicle, and I thought, okay, I'm safe with these two people. I didn't know who they were. The transportation, they've only told me transportation, so I'm assuming it's an ambulance. I can't confirm that, because there's certain data that I've been fighting for that they just will not release, and nobody will give me it. And I've been fighting for all the documentation I've got, but I've done a pretty good job of what I've got. So they've taken me to, don't mean a psychiatric ward, incoherent on drugs. Personally, I don't believe I was psychotic, because the sections happened at the police station. I just think that I was under, I had a hell of a lot of whatever it was in my system. So by the time I've reached at the psychiatric unit, they've looked at my presentation, and you guys have, like, what channel for, Sky News, I'll look at my face when I'm looking at the camera, and I look horrific. That was only at the 30-hour mark, just after the 30-hour mark. I was there for like 40, 41 hours. Yeah. So my presentation was worse than that footage by the time they'd done whatever they'd done. Do you know what I mean? So when I arrived in the psychiatric unit, I was already on the section 2 from the police station. So I wasn't sectioned by the hospital. I was already on the section, and I was dumped in the hospital. On my medical record, it says a few hours. That was with GMP for a few hours. GMP, 40 odd hours is not a few hours. It's not. Anyway, I've managed to say that I was raped somehow. So they've decided to put me on a drug-free assessment. So they decided to just monitor me, not give me any medications. And I think I was so lucky, because imagine if they had medicated me when I weren't mentally ill, I'd just under drugs and trauma. Not my drugs, because my drugs had come out not come out my system, but I'd sobered up off them. Whatever these police officers who were meant to serve and protect you did to me, right? So I'm in the seclusion unit, and people is so degrading. Yeah, they watch you 24/7. There's a different member of staff. You're under like, you go to the toilet and they're watching you go to the toilet. You have a shower, they're watching you have a shower. That's my memory of that place. But I knew I was safe there. I knew I was safe. But what I couldn't understand, like, why are these people not listening to me? I'm showing you it hurts here, pointing at my breast, and my neck hurt for some reason. And I kept doing these weird gestures, like going like this, right? So you can make out what I'm trying to say, but because I knew the hospital staff couldn't understand, because my speech was highly pressured, highly slurred. I couldn't get the words out. So I'm trying to mime it to them, but I look like I'm like auditioning for a porn movie or something. And I'm like this. And then what I'm doing is trying to say it hurts here and it hurts here. And they're not getting it. They're not getting it. They're just staring at me like, but I know now I wasn't coherent. So what I've done, I've resorted to, I remember another memory actually that I've not mentioned before. They put a drink, because I knew that I needed to increase my fluid intake. So they've gave me water, and they've gave me this red drink. And for some reason, when I looked at the red drink, I'm like, danger, danger, danger. But it weren't coming out as danger, because I couldn't speak. It wasn't coming out as danger. And I'm trying to show them that it hurts. And then I remember saying to the woman, and they've thought that I was being sexual with them, I go to the woman, and it's written in the Independent article that was written by Manya Sachdev, right? It says, do you want to look at my vagina? What I didn't mean, do you want to look at my vagina? I meant by that, it hurts. Your doctors do something.
Yeah.
Physical pain. They weren't listening. So then when I drank a cup of water, I remember peeing in a cup to say, look, blood. I'm pointing, I'm showing them. They didn't get it because I weren't coherent. So to me, I'm explaining to them, right? So how can I explain it? It felt like I was insane in here, completely sane. I knew exactly what we're doing, but my mind had lost connection with my body.
Do you know what, Zayna? Do you know what I've got to say to you from what you've just told me there? I've spoken to hundreds of victims over the past 20 years on drink spiking issues. And what you're explaining to me about being highly sexualized, by not being able to converse, what you're trying to say is exactly what so many victims have explained to me. I just want to share that with you. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, it's all right. It's important for me, because the thing is, right, the sections were done to discredit me. So the sections, like I said, I can't emphasize enough, they came from the police station, right? And these documents were very hard for me to find, because I kept saying to the mental health team, because I assumed it was a mental health team, where was the section, what time was the section? And they're like, we didn't do it, like, you just arrived. And I'm like, we've gave you all our file. So GMP asked them for anything, they won't give me it. I had to fight for everything, 2 legal teams, right into all these like officials. So do you know all the officials that you're seeing release the press statements saying, we've just become aware. Listen, people, you're hearing it from me and I've got the data to back it up. They've known since 2021. And I'll tell you how they've known since 2021. I even wrote to the Home Office in 2021 because I was getting nowhere. All I wanted was the footage. And do you know what? From day one, I've never said I wanted to take them to court. I never said I wanted an investigation. All I've been fighting for was footage because I know what I remember, but I need closure by seeing the footage. I know I'm not wrong, okay? And I'm a very tough character, and I can handle a lot of shit. And you've seen me now. I'm thriving. I'm thriving. I have bad days, don't get me wrong. I'm thriving, touch wood, with the help of the public. I'm thriving because they're all backing me right now, and it's backfiring on them monumental side because everyone can see that they're covering up. So I'm reading the statements and it's like, oh, we only just found out, we're doing an inquiry. Vera Baird, who's victim blamed me, by the way, that Zayna, she's no saint. I'm not being funny. How's a woman who can't even pronounce my name right going to get a report right when she's victim blamed me, being the former victims commissioner? I'm not happy with that. And I want to emphasize, because there's a statement coming out, I'm not happy with her doing the inquiry. I can't speak for the other 2 girls. I'm only talking about my journey. It's not my job to speak about another survivor's journey or story. I can only tell you from my perspective. So I fought and fought and fought for this footage, and they've done everything in the book to distract me from getting it. Like investigation after investigation after investigation. And this is how low they've gone to discredit me, yeah? When I got my memory back in April 2021, right, I left Salford. I had my house there. I kept it going because I didn't realize how long I'd be away, and I still had my house. These people tried to have me sectioned twice when I wasn't even living in Salford. They thought, oh, we're living in Salford. I'm bloody living in Sheffield. I've got the documentation, right? The mental health team have said a member of the public has raised concerns about you. And I says, where are you ringing from? Oh, it's the Salford's early intervention team. I says, that's funny because I'm sat with a room of people in Sheffield. I've not lived in Salford since April 2021 when I got my memory back. Not the entire memory at that point, but I had enough to know it was them. Do you know what I mean? I'd always known it was them, but the hospital thought I'd been raped at home because you wouldn't think it's a police station, especially when the police said that she's only been here for a few hours or whatever. But it was a hospital that told me I'd been drugged and raped. Because when I came out the seclusion unit after 2 days, I was in the normal ward. And the first day that I was in the normal ward, so it was on the 9th, the doctor that was assigned to my care, it was a female. She wasn't the consultant, it was a female. And she goes, Zayna, we believe you've been spiked and sexually assaulted. And I remember looking at her and I'm like, how do you know when I don't know? And she says, why do you not know? And there's an extract in my medical records and it says my memory, and I get a biscuit, and the doctor's actually she's wrote it in the notes. She goes, Zayna picks up a biscuit and breaks it in half and shows me what she means. This is my memory. So my memory, a full biscuit, is that. And I said to her, how can you be so sure when even I'm not so sure? She goes, Zayna, how do you explain this, and the intense pain that you're in? And I'm looking at her and she's saying, we want you to report it. But I remember thinking at the time, my memories are from the police station. She's telling me I've been raped at home. So at the time I'm thinking, have I actually had a mental breakdown? Because you learn very quickly in a psych ward, people never accuse the police of doing anything wrong. They'll think you're paranoid. So I learned very quick. As soon as I got out the seclusion unit, I did not mention the police. But then, like I said, as I was sobering up, I believe whatever was in my system was coming out. I was coming round. Do you know what I mean? And my personality was returning to baseline personality. This is baseline for me. So the hospital told me I'd been drugged and raped. So I was in 2 minds. I said, let me have a think about it. So the hospital made a referral for me on the 9th to St. Mary's Stock. They were told that the referral could only come from the victim herself or or himself, the victim, or the police. Do you see where there's a gap, there's a flaw in the system? Yeah, the police or me. Okay, then they wouldn't take it from the psychiatric unit doctor who thought that I'd been drugged and raped, you know. Anyway, on the 10th, I decided, I was speaking to other staff as well, and on my medical record, it actually says, we believe this is a result, don't quote me on the exact words, but I'm going to try to get it as close as possible. We believe that Zayna believes that she was drugged and sexually assaulted prior to coming to the hospital. The whole ward is of the opinion that this is not a delusional belief due to her ongoing pain symptoms. I'm going to emphasize to you people, I had rectal and vaginal bleeding. I didn't have that. If we work backwards, my memories of the hospital, I didn't want to be there. They didn't abuse me. The only memory gaps I've got are from my time with the police station. At home, I was high as a kite. Remember, there was 5 officers. If I had rectal and vaginal bleeding then, they would bloody notice, wouldn't they? I mean, they're dim, but they're not that dim. I was wearing skinny jeans.
And this is days later as well, by the way.
Right, yeah, so days later. So I reported on the 10th. And the weird thing was, right, we know police, right, any rape victim that's reported rape, right, any rape victim that's reported rape, you know how the police treat you, right? Reporting it is worse than actually experiencing it for some people. They said that it's more traumatic to report than the actual assault. But guess what, people? I'm dead special, me. I can't relate to you guys. GMP wanted to come and see me whilst I was in the psychiatric unit. Could you imagine, right? Could you imagine? I've got this in writing, people, as well. Could you imagine, right? So I've just been inflicted and abused, and then my abusers, I see me abusers. I would have freaked out and I would have been detained for life. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, one of the other memories I've got, and this isn't meant to be in a racist way, so if it comes out wrong, remember I'm replaying the images as I speak to you. In a psychiatric, you know, well, the one that they dumped me in, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. it's the normal staff with the odd care staff, so it's normal doctors and nurses, right? On a night time, so from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. to the night shift, it's black staff. It was predominantly black staff, and they wore dark uniform, and they were sending me under, because every time I was seeing them, I'm thinking GMP, GMP, GMP. Do you get what I mean? So to the hospital, that's like paranoia. She's thinking hospital staff or GMP. Do you get what I mean? This is on my hospital records, right? And I'm not going to mention all my memories and all the stuff that I've got against them, because obviously I'm going to nail them. I promise you, people, I will nail them for this, because they've not done a good job at covering it up. And even when they're covering up now, they're tripping over their own lies. The whole system has tried to shut me down, people. The whole system has tried to shut me down. For what was my crime? What was my crime? Right? What was my crime? I wasn't charged with anything. And Sky News has even documented, right? So, you know, when I say they try to pin crimes on me, right? Sky News do this little bit where they say on the footage, it says Zayna's assaulted an officer and she's caused a scratch to the forehead and the cheek. They go, now look at what really happens. Nothing. So do you know, Greater Manchester Police's professional standards department, criminal investigation, guess who the criminal was, people? Me. So Channel 4, and if they watch this, Channel 4 and Sky News literally saved me life. And do you know why they saved me life? Because Channel 4 emphasized I was not charged with anything, right? Okay. And Sky News showed one clip of like a crime that they've claimed I've committed and I've not committed. Okay. Right. There was something else I was going to say. So anyway, this is like so I reported on the 10th. I was finally fully discharged on the 11th, and I like to emphasize Greater Manchester Police started ringing me the day that I was released, and they seized my clothing off me on the 12th, and me, like a dickhead, I've gave it to them despite me having flashbacks. I've gave it to them, and I'd like to emphasize to you people, so I gave my forensic clothing to Greater Manchester Police on the 12th of February 2021, and guess when they sent them off for forensic testing? about 3 days after Channel 4 came out in May 2023. And they told me that they've destroyed the custody shorts, right? So now I'm going to explain the subject access request because this is very important. I made the request in February 2021 to aid with my memory recall because I couldn't understand why my memories, right? So I knew I weren't mental and I've never had a mental breakdown because people look at me. I've always been like this, right? You've seen me interviews, and in different interviews, my personality changes, but I kind of like different people. I can get away. They brief me, they go, don't do this, don't do that. So I've got to present myself in line with their rules. So if I'm acting a bit more giddy, that's just my natural personality because I'm a glass full person, like, you know what I mean? Got glass half full person, not empty. So I made the subject access request in February 2021, but I made it to everybody that was involved in the 5th and the 6th. Guess who the only person was that wasn't complying? Greater Manchester Police. In April 2021, like I said, I regained my memory, and I remember ringing them, and I went absolutely ape shit on them, and like, it's you little bastards, and you lied to me, and you, like, even though I reported a rape and I said I think I was drugged and raped at home based on what the hospital thought. Bear in mind, it was under date rape. And this is what GMP call has given multiple versions. People, I've been talking about my experiences on different podcasts, compare the notes, research my story. There's one false article out on the public domain, and I've got the video transcript for that. So there's one article, I'm not going to name the thingy, but if you read it and you think, well, that's not what she said, that article is not what I've said, because I've got the videos, and the video clips that I've got are on my Twitter page. So I've been documenting my journey because I've been raising awareness since April 2021.
I just want to say at that point, Zayna, for anybody who's listening to this podcast, where can they actually find all your data? Where can they find all of your posts that you've put up so they can follow your story?
At the moment, I'm on Twitter at Iman Zayna. So my first name, surname, back, so capital IMAN, capital ZAYNA. But I'm on a mad right. So the official media that have asked for my story and seen my data, not just ripped it off and regurgitated it. Right, so the first one is Channel 4, who covered one section, and it's like disproportionate arrests in GMP. Then it's the Sky News piece. So all you need to do is Google Zayna and Sky News, and all the interviews I've gave to Sky News are there, right? And that's what's gave me the traction, because I allowed them to use the footage that I've put out there. And then the other article is that was released Wednesday just gone. So Wednesday, what day was it? Wednesday.
2nd.
No, was it Wednesday? It wasn't Wednesday, sorry. It was the 1st. I can't remember, but it was early August, right? So the article was released, and it was released by The Independent, and that mentioned the missing footage, and the day after GMP have like corrupted files. But the reason, can I just go back a bit, right? So I made the subject access request in February, regained my memory in April, and I've been fighting for it since. And they've played every tactic, investigation after investigation, and like Mr. Iman's claims, allegations are fanciful, and she's delusional, and we believe she's got mental health issues. I says, fine, I'm willing to accept that. What's that got to do with the missing footage? Give me the footage, right? So I made the subject access request anyway. I weren't getting anywhere with it. And then I had my memory improved even more, and I remembered some more memories. So I reported Greater Manchester Police in July 2021 to South Yorkshire Police. And this is really important to emphasize, South Yorkshire Police in July 2021. So even South Yorkshire Police knew. So how all these professionals that are coming out now saying that they didn't know, I reported it to an outside force. I have the documentation. Why are you lying? Keep your mouth shut. I'm giving you enough rope to hang yourselves, and you're literally hanging yourself. Just be quiet. Just tell the truth. I'm going to have you for this. I promise you. I can't say too much, but I'm dead confident. And there's a reason why I'm giving them the middle finger and being as cheeky as I am, because I've got nothing to lose. Sorry. I've got nothing to lose now, right? I don't have kids. You can't take my kids off me. You can't lock me. Well, you can lock me up again saying I'm mentally ill, but too many people like have seen me videos and seen my story. They're going to struggle to have me sectioned again. Do you know what I mean? Channel 4 and Sky have like taken out the crime element. So the IOPC put a statement out online saying, on telly saying, X amount of referrals were made to the IOPC by GMP. Even the IOPC have lied. No, you had more referrals, but you're not referring to them referrals because it says that I'm the criminal in the criminal investigation. So you're going to now have to explain why I'm the criminal in the criminal investigation. So anyway, I'm going to go back. So July 2021, I've reported as South Yorkshire Police, and in the meantime I'm writing to everybody, to the Home Office, or every prolific person under Boris's administration. I think it was Boris under, I don't do politics, I think it was Boris, under Boris's administration, all the big ones, Priti Patel and God knows who else. But the Mayor's Office got a reply in 2021. Andy Burnham was aware in 2021. The letters on my Twitter page. Dame Vera Baird, who's only addressed me on Twitter. How dare you? I'm a victim of crime. You've addressed me on Twitter. How dare you? The only reason I'm documenting my experience online because I've been ignored by you, and I'm trying to raise awareness and expose you for the scum that you are, for what you're doing. And the reason I'm being so harsh, people, right? This weekend, 30 months. I've been 30 months since it happened. So 28 months I've been raising awareness. 30 months, these sex offenders are still working. So all this drama that they're doing, don't think they're doing it for my benefit. They're working on covering it up. If I get silenced and shut down, right? And if my story fades away, yeah, they're still abusing people because they've not been charged. They're still serving. Just always remember that. So you need to help back me get these sex offenders out of Greater Manchester Police. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think you'll get them out, all of them out, but we've done some damage and it's going to make it harder. So with the campaigning I've done, right, I've managed to have the station named, but I've been naming the station since April 2021. There's videos of me in the early days, April 2021, on the internet, if you look hard enough. I think it's the Nextdoor app, but now that I've said it, GMP might have it removed because I've had other videos removed. And right, so me custody records, people. So remember, allegations happen in February. They're not allegation, it did happen, right? I'm not saying allegations. I'm categorically saying it happened, and I'm wanting GMP to prove me wrong. And to date, they've not been able to prove me wrong. Yeah, corrupted this nonsense. So February 2021. April, get me memory back. Wrote to everybody and anybody, including all the charities, right? Nobody was able to help. Now I want to emphasize to people, 2 charities who jumped on board, right? So there was only 2 charities that helped me. No, 3 charities that helped me. Well, no, 2 charities and 1 political party that helped me in 2021. So I'm going to name them, right? Because I said I would. The Northern Police Monitoring Project in Manchester, right? Women Against Rape in London, and the Manchester branch of Women's Equality Party. All 3 wrote to these idiots, well, at Great Manchester Police, right, in 2021. Please don't tell me that you have only just found out and you knew nothing about my allegations and my footage has not been chased for. I've had so many people chase the footage, and guess what, people? I have the data available from the people that have chased the footage. So that now that this all lying and saying that it's only just come to their attention, no, people, they've known since 2021, and they've allowed sex offenders to continue to serve because to protect the force's reputation. Greater Manchester Police's reputation is already in tatters. Getting rid of like sex offenders would make no difference. But what really confuses me at the minute, Stephen Watson wasn't even the chief constable at the time, and if you notice, he's very quiet on the matter. Where is he? Where is he? Why does he not think this is important? Why is he letting everybody else do his, like, speak? I want you to speak. I don't want Dame Vera Baird doing my inquiry. Andy Burnham's a liar. They're all lying, and I'm not happy with what's going on because I didn't ask for any of this. I've just asked for the missing footage. What's with the drama, people? So anyway, the footage that I finally got, so I know I keep going off tangent, it's just because, like I said, the spiking element of it is so important for me, because I'm trying to portray a picture. So when I'm getting angry and when I'm annoyed is because, like I said, it's hard when you're speaking about it, you're replaying it, but I know I have to do it, because if I do it and people are listening to me and they see me going like off tangent, they're like, that, yeah, yeah, I remember that. And I want people to just get to know me as a person, not just the story. So I want them to see the person behind the story and then judge me and tell me that the police don't rape people. Come on, people. Wayne Cousins, Dave Carrick, they knew about him. They knew about him. They just covered it up, right? 20 odd years, they knew about him, right? And I'm trying to prevent that here. And I've been shut down at every angle. And I'm telling you, people, they're going to throw me under the bus. I'm giving you an exclusive. So I'm fighting back and I'm being as vocal as I can. But do you know the memories that I told South Yorkshire Police in July 2021? They're in the footage that I then received in February 2022. The shorts, the missing shorts, the bleeding. Yeah, I'm not lying, people. Like, who in their right mind would take on the second biggest police force, right, in England if they were lying? People, I can't put into words what I saw in there. Yeah, I can't put into words. And with my background, that's saying a lot. Yeah, I can't
So
put
I
into.
just want to say, just at this point, that from all of the victims that I've spoken to over all of these years, Zayna, they've said to me, Dawn, I've become compliant. I just couldn't put up a fight. I've had one lady who said to me, my head hit down on my neck, and my friend had to keep lifting up my head because my airways were blocked. Another lady said
Yeah,
to me, I
yeah.
couldn't even open my eyes to see he was raping me. So when you're telling me what you're telling me, it's just reiterating from time and time and time again from all of these, not just men, sorry, not just women, it's men who've told me some awful, the most disgusting things that have happened to them, and how they've been ashamed, how they've been embarrassed, how they felt that it was their fault. It's the most disgusting, it's like an invisible crime that people have gotten away with time and time again. And Zayna, just sitting and listening to you, telling me what you've been telling me tonight, it just, do you know what? It makes me feel sick in the pit of my stomach, because these people that I've been talking to, this has happened to them on a night out. This has happened to them mainly by strangers. Some of them it's happened to by people who've known them and they haven't been able to call them out because it's been the same friendship group. And now you're telling me this has happened to you by people who are here to keep us safe. And that just, it breaks my
No,
heart, love.
I'm gonna. It's a weird one, right? So people, you've got to remember, it feels like I was designed to do this, right? So had I not been a recreational user of drugs, yeah, I wouldn't have had a high tolerance to drugs. I wouldn't have remembered how much I remember. Do you understand? They
Yeah.
picked the wrong girl. You picked the wrong girl. And I'm coming for you. And you know what, right? If people are watching this, right, can I just emphasize, because I'm getting a lot of people are playing a lot of games and people are trying to jump on the bandwagon. This is coming from my mouth. I don't do petitions. So if you see a petition in my name, no. The system abused me. I'm not using the system to like, nah, I know I was drugged and raped. I don't need somebody else to tell me I was drugged and raped. Full stop, right? If anybody sets up any funding for me, I do not need money, people. No money. You're being scammed. Do not part with your money for me. The only thing I need the public to do for me, right? And trust me, people, I can't say it. And everybody that knows me now and has probably listened to me videos probably knows I don't shut up, right? I promise you I won't shut up. But these people are going to bury my story. And you know what? Even whatever you think of me and whatever, like, whether, I don't know, whatever you think of me, doesn't matter, right? Forget me for a change. Just remember this for me, people, right? If these people shut me down, right? these sex offenders are going to be continued to work. There's going to be more Zaynas of different colors, different sexes, whatever, do you know what I mean? Don't let this happen again. You people can like fight your fight through me, and I promise I'll be your voice. All I'm asking you to do is share my story. Don't let the media forget about it. The media is very fickle, right? Now, I know I'm quite cocky, right? So I know the interest in my story is going to be like this. Do you know why? Because it's an ongoing case and I'm so vocal and I'm entertaining the public. Because I'm being prim and proper on the media, because I'm censored and I have to, there's only, I have to put that, they can't put anything on there. Do you know the way I'm talking to you? This could make the air like swearing and stuff and saying they're a bunch of liars. I promise you people, they're a bunch of liars. They're trying to shut my mouth up because they're protecting sex offenders. But 30 months down the line, how many more has there been? How many don't remember? How many are too scared to speak up? I'm telling you people, the reason I'm doing this, right? The whole experience of navigating the police complaints procedure and all these idiots that are like, how many village idiots does it take to silence one woman? That's what I want to know. And that's what I'm going to actually message. The message them all. Do you know what? I'm actually cheeky to them. Do you know why? Because they're all on good behavior, because they know they're being watched. I can literally say and do anything. I went like that to him in one of the videos. There's nothing that they can do. I have zero respect for any of them. I don't care what Greater Manchester Police have got to say. I don't care what Andy Burnham has got to say. I don't care what's her name, Dame Vera Baird has to say. Do you know why? Because they've all got all the IOPC, or the Assistant Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, or the Chief Constable who's remained silent on the matter. I'm putting a message out there. I don't care what any of you have got to say. Please tell me how you're going to shut me up now with the data that I've got. I'm telling you, this is just the start of my campaign. You don't know what I've been doing in the background. I'm going to have you for this. And you know what I love the most, right? I was so scared to come out. I thought, on paper, I'm like the least credible person. I don't come from I'm not perfect. I don't come from a perfect background. Who the hell's going to believe me when even I struggle to believe me? And the reason I struggle to believe me, because they won't give me the missing data. They've got it. I promise you, they've got it. What they're doing at the moment, right? I'm going to tell you what they're doing at the moment. They're waiting to see which way the wind blows. So if it continues to blow in my favor, they're sacking officers. Do you understand? But if it blows in their favor, it's another cover up. Don't let this be another Yusuf Maki type of cover up, a Hillsborough cover up, a J report cover up. I'm telling, well, not cover up, you know what I mean. I can make things easier for other victims now. A lot of victims have become very, not a lot, but a few have become quite nasty because they don't understand why I'm getting the traction. Whilst a lot of people are anonymous, the videos and the footage of me, I'm always going to be the woman that clearly claims that she was raped by GMP. The horrific footage that's online that I can't even look at, that's always going to be there. So even if I change my name, I can't change my bloody face. It's there. Right, to get my voice heard, I had to waive my right to anonymity. I had no choice. I wasn't given a choice. My hand was forced, and the reason my hand was forced is because I know they're still working, and that's the part that bugs me. That's the part that bugs me. Like, I was abused when I was younger, right? And I weren't allowed to speak out. And even as an adult, I think that man's probably raping more children, and he probably has, yeah, not probably, he has, right? But I was a kid there, so I was silent and nobody believed me, right? Happened during adulthood, but for me, I've picked my battle, and I think all them experiences happened to put me out here. And you know what? I go out now and I'm like this, like, put me hood up, like, because I don't want anyone to recognize me. Do you know what I mean? I'm never going to have the same quality of life other victims get, you know, the ones that stay anonymous, right? So please don't be spiteful towards me, because some of the comments I've read online to discredit me, I'm not going to be honest. I don't entertain the negative stuff. But every now and then you end up seeing one, and it hurts more when it's the victim, because the victim knows what's going to trigger you. Do you know what I mean? The police don't, they're stupid, but a victim knows what's going to trigger you, right? So I don't read the comments, but don't see this as me stealing the limelight, right? I've got such a big gob. I've got nothing to lose. I will walk down the street naked if I have to take these people down. And like, if you guys knew what I knew, you'd be backing me all the way. I'm close. They're crumbling. They're crumbling. I ring them, right? Well, not ring them, right? I spoke to some of them and I'm putting them in their place. I'm like, hold on, I aren't finished yet. Let me talk. And they're like, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. And they're like, one of the officers goes to me, right? So I've had a bit of so South Yorkshire Police, basically, I've had to ask them, right, if we're okay, because I don't want to be targeted for speaking out in South Yorkshire. And I said to them, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be putting out there that I reported the crime to South Yorkshire Police because all of them are saying that they weren't aware. And I'm going to name all the places that have been aware since 2021. And I've got the data for everything. I don't think they were too pleased with it, but I says, don't worry, I'm not going to put you in a bad light. It's just to emphasize, and it's nothing personal. I've seen the way that they're treating me. They're all scared of me. And do you know why they're scared of me? Because the public is backing me and I need the public to back me. Don't let my story, I don't think it is going to die out because like I said, this is ongoing, but I need you to keep retweeting, put my videos out, watch my videos. Do you know what? Even if you don't believe what I'm saying, right? Nick the videos and put it on a site and just bitch about me if you want. I don't care. I'm really thick-skinned. I just need the words out, not just for me. People, let this sink in, right? They're doing all this melodrama. And in the meantime, do you know how long inquiries take? Yeah. Do you know how long investigations take? Right. Already these officers have been serving for over 30 months. Let
So
that sink in.
we've
That's
heard
it.
it here this evening from Zayna Iman herself. This is 2.5 years later, and this is the level that you've got to, Zayna. How do you feel? How
Do
do
you
you
know what?
feel?
Right. Everyone keeps saying to me, so I just want to put a message out to like people that are backing me, right? They keep saying like, Zayna, don't, you're going up against the establishment, get CCTV in your house, do this, do that. I'm like, what for? I said, no, I said, my God's keeping me safe. I said, I'm going to keep talking. I said, every time they annoy me, that I'm going to keep talking. And they know that what the data that I've got, well, they don't know everything, right? Because I'm not that daft, right? Because the thing is, you've got to remember, I know what's on that missing footage, right? I always knew that they were never going to give me it. So I was chasing it and I was doing the silly bollocks chasing it. But in the meantime, I had them focused on that little bit, the footage bit. So they've like kind of slacked and I've managed to get all the data around it. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah. I'm streetwise because I've experienced life. Do you
Yeah,
understand? Right?
I do.
I put myself through university. I'll be honest, I only went to university to get a deposit for a house, but I got a 2-1 and I didn't even study for it. So I'm not stupid, you know. But they've underestimated me because they look at the way that I talk and the way that I act. And I mean, yeah, I admit I don't sound intelligent, I sound dim, and I probably look dim as well. But that's always been the thing. The thing is, I come from a background where I had to downplay my intelligence because when I downplayed my intelligence, right, people wouldn't it'd be easier to keep myself safe because they wouldn't try as hard to fuck me over. So, like I said, if that doesn't make sense to you, just research my story. I've put everything out there, just to show to people if somebody like me, yeah, somebody who's got psychosis, because Great Manchester Police have said I've got psychosis, can do this, and I'm from the Asian community, they don't, I'll be honest with you, very limited support, right? You know, the protests didn't hardly saw any brown like people from my community, hardly any. One in particular, and she'll know who she is because she's made some videos for me. I'm going to say to her, thank you so much, because I'm milking all this for all I can. But my supports come from, right, the group that they call the far right, the ones that are exposing right? The child grooming. There's clearly an issue in this country with child grooming, but you start naming who's responsible or who is overrepresented, you get called far right. That's the system's way of silencing the child grooming cover up. The far right were me original fans and the original ones that were backing me, right? And now, and I don't mean Black Lives Movement, because personally I believe the Black Lives Movement is a political movement. For me, the Black community are backing me 100%. You know what? I'm ashamed to admit this, right? I used to always see on the news, right? Oh, yeah, but high knife crimes and high this, and the Black people were like, they're demonized, like they're not good people. And you know what? I've actually realized they've been trying to warn all, well, not you guys, but me. For me, in my personal opinion, they've always tried to warn us about what the police are like. The police have always discredited them, right? And we've not believed them and I never believed it, right? I believed that I didn't believe the police were good, but I believed what I read about the Black community. And now I say that I'm in their shoes now and I see the level of corruption. Um, they've the amplifying my voice. Who's doing that? Them.
Yeah.
They started it. The protests. Them. Yeah, they're my family now. So the far right. So like when you start speaking out, what they do is right. They try to discredit you. So they'll use labels like far right, mentally insane. Oh yeah, but they're Black and they're all stabbing people. This is ways to discredit people, right? And like I said, for me, they've lit the whole police complaints procedure has sucked the life out of me. And by fighting, I'm getting my life back. But in the process, everybody's support means that I'm gonna ensure that these sex offenders are not going to be serving. Come on, people, look at the progress that I've made, right? I joined Twitter and I was talking to myself because nobody wanted to listen. I was just this girl that had come out of the psych ward and I started raising awareness. And in the early days, I actually wrote letters and I bought envelopes and bought stamps. And you know what I did? And my memory recall wasn't that great. And people in Salford will remember this because I spammed Salford with typed letters, envelopes and stamps. I spent my own money. I must have spent about 1,500 quid with envelopes, paper and ink. Bloody hell, it's bloody expensive, and posted letters. One of the letters ended up on a neighborhood thing. And then I posted videos on there to say, and I said the same thing. So this was April 2021. I said, I was drugged and sexually assaulted by Greater Manchester Police, and to cover it up, they sectioned me. And I kept it short and simple because I didn't have all the data and I didn't have the old memory recall. So I'm going to recap it for you people. February 2021, it happened. April 2021, I regained my memory. I started to write to everybody. February 2021, I requested the data, like I said, as well. I started to chase everybody to get JMP to part with this data, and they just would not part with it. No, but all the official routes, right, that are in place took me round and round in circles. I was banging my head, getting nowhere. It was just mad. And then July 2021, I gave a statement to South Yorkshire Police. In October 2021, Greater Manchester Police created records to counteract what I'd said in the South Yorkshire Police statement. Yeah, because it was released after. Yeah. And then they gave me the footage in February 2021. So July 2021, I've reported to South Yorkshire Police. I've got the body worn statement, original one. It was sent to GMP, professional standard, the same day. Yet GMP professional standards told me that they didn't find out about it in May 2022. Mate, you were the people that asked for my forensic clothing to be taken off me on the 12th of February. Guess how I know that? Because I've got an inside source. Anyway, I'm being cheeky as hell because I know I'm going to win, but even if for the small chance that I don't win and beat them, yeah, no one can blame me for not giving it the best shot. In like since Sky News has come out, and it was only last month, a couple of weeks ago, I've caused more damage to Greater Manchester Police than anybody has in a very, very long time. So all I'm asking people to do is, I'll never ask for money. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Never ask for money. So if you see people raising money, right, scammers, I don't do petitions. Don't believe in it. I've been abused by the system. I'm not using the system to amplify my voice. They've tried to silence me. Okay? Let that sink in. I'm not using the system, quoting you, not using the system to give me a voice when they're the ones that silence me. Now, with the legal system, I'm not going to lie, because everyone keeps telling me after. So I have got a solicitor, and every time I've had someone, I get a lot of advice. I've got like a few people advising me, but do you know what I do? I'm going to give people a tip, because I am 38. So it's so for rape victims or anybody going through any issue, this is how you know you're making the right decision, right? Right. You've got a decision to make, and if you make a decision, right, so say if it's decision A or B, if decision A is making you feel uncomfortable and it's got too many questions and it's got whatever, it's the wrong decision. When you know when you're making the right decision, you feel at peace. You feel at peace. And like when I was doing the police complaints procedure, I had days where I didn't want to get out of bed. I don't suffer from mental health issues, people. I had no quality of life, and I thought, what the hell? And there was at my lowest point, like I said, I'm not suicidal, people. I'm a very happy person, as you can see, because I thought, I'm doing everything I can and nobody's listening to me, and I can't get over the fact that they're still working and they're still raping people. I know what I saw in there, people. I know what I saw in there, right? They're still working. So because they're still working, they're raping other people. And that for me is hard. But I've spotted two parts. I believe I've spotted two officers, right, that were responsible, right? And I can pinpoint where I've seen them in the footage that I do have as well. And I'm giving you guys a bit of little snippets of like stuff, because I know GMP watch everything, so I'm winding them up as well when I'm giving information overload. And I've got an inside source as well, as they know, because I recorded the IOPC's call to me, and I asked her a question, and she goes, but I'm scared, Zayna, because I don't know your source. I'm like, mate, you've just given me comedy gold there, because I know. And she goes, when I told her, I said, I'm recording your calls because I don't give you permission to use my call. Well, I said, you said that you're telling me the truth. So as long as you're not lying to me, I'll never have to use it, will I? I'm releasing everything. And do you know what? I've created a document with every officer's name that's been involved in the cover-up, including IOPC, blah, blah, blah. I've got measures in place to release all them names. Don't think you're going to shut me up. I'm not going down without a fight. And do you know why? I'm doing it for all the ones that they've drugged and raped that I can't come forward for whatever reason. The ones that have not woke up feeling funny, but they don't reason why they feel funny and weird. I'm doing it for the ones that are being abused right now, and they're thinking, do I tell somebody that? Do I not tell somebody? I'm exposing all my flaws, mate. If I can do it, the girl that suffered from a drug-induced psychosis and it was sexually assaulted, right? I've taken on the second biggest police force in England, and I'll be honest, I'm not even scared. Do you know why? I've got people on Twitter saying to me or on wherever, please be careful, Zayna, please be careful. I'm like, stop with the negativity. Leave me alone. I'm actually enjoying the process. This is therapy for me. I'm not on medication. I don't do counseling, right? This is my therapy, winding them the hell up, because I know they're running around like headless chickens, because every time they release a statement, I'm there with popcorn. I'm like, I'm enjoying this. They haven't got a clue what they're doing. So they'll be releasing the statement soon about Vera Baird being leading the review. I didn't want any of this, just wanted my footage, and you've corrupted the disc, and now you're playing all the silly bollocks to hoodwink the public. And if the public are hoodwinked by this, right, they're going to continue abusing people. And let me tell you a secret. I don't think it's just this police station, right? This police station is the one that's come out. I think this is happening all over, because I've heard stories. I can't verify them stories because people won't come out. And it's not my place to speak for the victims, but you'd be surprised at what people share with you. And I just want to say to people, right, because I'm working so hard and I'm like flavor of the month with the media kind of thing. I'm struggling to keep up with the emails, the WhatsApp, whatnot, but don't think that I'm being ignorant. All I need you to do whilst I'm working hard in the background with right. So most people are inside the box thinkers, right? I'm an outside the box thinker. So people think inside the box. And the reason why GMP can't outsmart me, they think inside the box, I think outside the box. And I've always said to them, do you know what? I've always said to them, I will get you for this. So if they're watching, they tell you, I will get you for this. I'm not quite there yet. Do you know why? Because the officers are still serving. So 30 months down the line, I've got this battle in my head. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. And everyone's like, Zayna, you need to sleep. You need to sleep. I'm like, no, the opportunities are coming my way. I'm not turning these opportunities down because they've suppressed my voice for so long. I've got so much to say. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours and give you some more stupidity that they've done. And they're going out lying on television, right? And I've got proof that they're lying. They're giving me more proof. Honestly, right? People, I cannot tell you how funny this is becoming. So don't worry about me. I'm not scared of them. And to be honest, right? Imagine like what they're going to do. Lock me up again. They've done that. Section me. They've done that. Drug and rape me again. They've done that. What's the next thing that you can do to shut me up? I'm not scared of you. There's nothing you can do, right? They can't silence me. They're all trying to silence me, and I've managed to keep me going. But have you seen some of the stuff I've said on the podcast that I've done? I've gone all out. There's no going back now, people. You need to back me up. They're going to throw me under the bus. But even if it's not for me, on a serious note, just remember, over 30 months later, these sex offenders are being protected by the entire police complaints system, and they've got all the manpower, all the money, all the resources to outdo my campaign and one girl and one woman. Yeah. So I need all of you to work with me to expose this. And all I'm needing you to do, you don't even need to put your name out there. Like I said, I'm not interested in petitions. I'm not interested in the money. Just share me videos. I don't care. Like, even print out posters and stick them on toilets or something. I don't care anymore. I'm at that stage. I don't care. They've put me through utter hell, right? They're still abusing me now. Maybe not physically and sexually, but mentally and emotionally. I'm seeing the shit show unfold along with you guys. You guys see through this. If you think I'm the only victim, you're deluded. You're deluded. That's all I've got to
So
say.
what I'm going to do this evening is I've got a couple of things that I just want to say to you, Zayna. Number one is, my family have always said to me since I've been a little girl, my darling, the truth will always prevail. So that is one thing that I want to say to you. The other thing is that, Zayna, do you know what? It's been an emotional roller coaster for me tonight. I know some of what you've told me from what I've seen online, but listening to you and just meeting you tonight, it's just been like, I just feel quite emotional, because obviously I feel like one girl that's been fighting for 20 years for people like yourself. And so it's a lonely journey, I know, because I've been through ups and downs of this journey. I've had men and women breaking their little hearts in my arms, telling me about how they've been gang raped, how they've been alien raped, how they've been robbed, how they've been filmed, how they've been bribed. I've heard it for years, but this for me has got to be the worst account I've ever heard on
But
spiking
can I
issues.
just
It
say,
really has.
I can't emphasize, like I said, I try to post as much as I can on Twitter, but because I know that they monitor everything I'm saying, so sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I even do stuff like I've got two phones, so one I use for all this. So I use it if I mean left, I mean I'll say right, just to mislead them, not the public. Not the public, because I'm going to be honest with you, people. I've been dealing with them for 30 months now. I've had experiences with them before, but nothing like this. But I'm not being charged with anything. I've always been like victim, right? So I'm going to be honest with you, none of them are particularly bright, you know. Do you know what all it is? They close ranks on you. And because they close ranks on you, it's easy to silence you. But listen, if my voice gets silenced again, don't get me wrong, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. I don't care. And like I said on Sky News, if I have to be the sacrificial lamb to get this out, don't forget, with your support and my gob and my not give a fuck nature, we've finally named the station. Okay. Like, do you know how many people are going to be like, oh shit, me brother, my sister, the penitent, remember that crazy right, go check on them. But do you know what? I know they're thick, right? But I don't think they're thick enough to do anything wrong at that station now. They're going to be on best behavior and do all the paperwork correctly and like prim and proper. They're not going to do it now. But it's not good enough because they're still serving. And a rapist always reoffends if he gets away with it. I'm going to emphasize Wayne Cousin, Dave Carrick, rapists, right? The whole force knew, but they covered it up to protect the reputation, right? The amount of drugs that they put in my system, they could have actually killed me. Do you know what I mean? I remember, I don't remember it, but apparently the consultant said to me, as soon as you came into hospital, you had an ECG. They go, do you remember that? And I says, no, I didn't even know what an ECG was, to be honest. It's that heart thing. And one of my memories, right, do you remember when I told you I swiped my hand back to front and I showed one of them and he bought another two people? So there's a female and a male. The male, he wasn't, the older male that said this, he wasn't complicit. He goes, right, enough's enough. Get the fuck out of here. She's not going in here. This memory, I told to South Yorkshire Police in July 2021. July 2021, Greater Manchester received this report. They didn't action it. They've been fobbing me off. Do you know why they've started to pretend to act? Because when I got fed up, I thought, fuck it, I'm going to speak at that public event. I've got no to lose. I'm not going to get justice. So I might just start raising even more awareness. So May 2022, I spoke publicly. Never spoke publicly before. And I was nervous and stuttering for the first 5 minutes. And then it just came out naturally because I had all these faces just interested and just like gobsmacked like this. But you could tell some of them could relate to something and nobody disbelieved what I was saying. Like anybody that meets me in person, even without seeing the evidence, believes what I'm saying. Because you know why? As soon as I talk about it and I don't use the humor, it's written all over my face.
Yeah.
It's written all over my face. I can't hide it. Right. I'm going to be honest, my face tells the story, right? I don't think I'd be a good poker player.
You know what? You just make me laugh. Like
Yeah, but
I've
this
only
is
just
me.
met you.
I'm going to be honest.
You make me want to laugh and cry at the same time.
No,
And
but you know how? Don't cry.
do you know what all my friends say to me is like, you make a shit poker player, because I'm exactly the same as you. I show
Yeah.
everything.
And the thing is, right, I'm going to give Great Manchester Police some advice. If you're going to drug and rape somebody, make sure it's not a bloody chatterbox. I don't want to show up. Trying to shut me up. I overtalk everybody, but now I intend to overtalk people, but it's not because I'm being rude. It's because if I don't say what's on my mind straight away, my mind goes blank. Because yeah, so I have to say it when I'm saying it, otherwise I forget and people think I'm being rude and I'm not. But I think that's just the after effect of the trauma. Right. I see police cars now. I hate it. I hate the blue lights. I hate the cars, and I don't normally swear at all. I see them and I get Tourette's. I'm effing and blinding. If I talk about them, I'm swearing. I've got such disdain towards the police complaints procedure. So all the idiots that are lying at the moment coming on television. So basically what it is right now, I'll explain it to you. They've got their PR campaign, but they've got all the resources and all the manpower. I've got my PR campaign, but I'm just one person relying on the public, right? People are telling me, right, be careful, you shouldn't go up against them. People, I've got nothing to lose. Honestly, they've sucked the life out of me. This is putting life back into me. I am enjoying every minute of it. Not gonna lie, I'm absolutely exhausted. I woke up this morning, I didn't even know what day it was. They've all become one. It's just a whirlwind, but I'm enjoying the process because I'm looking at the letter, I'm thinking, dickheads, you're behaving now. I've got you scared. And then I'm reading something else. This is what I'm saying to other people. I need your help because, like I said, there's a lot of them, right? There's a village of idiots trying to silence one woman. They're struggling at the moment, but the only reason that they're struggling is because I've got the backing of the public, and I've been very, very lucky that the media that I've gone to, not the ones that I've ripped off the story, yeah, that I've gone to are backing me 100%. And I just want to just emphasize one thing, and I'm saying this for a reason. And it's not because I'm paranoid. It's just I've dealt with the system that long. I know they're bullshit lies, and they're not very clever. They've used the same tricks. So everything they used on me in 2021, right? The tactics, they're actually just using the same tactics now. But mate, I didn't know the police complaints procedure then. I know all your games now, so the same tactics aren't working. So when I'm looking, I'm thinking they're doing the same thing, they're doing the same thing. They actually think I'm daft. And do you know what? It annoys me. So do you know when they annoy me, I do something daft, I say something else. It's as simple as that. You keep pissing me off, I'm going to keep pissing you off. And the only way you're going to shut me up is if I'm 7 foot under. It's as simple as that. To me, I feel like what happened and what they've done to me, they've sucked the life out of me. And this is the only thing that's bringing me joy. And don't get me wrong, I used to be such a private person. To go all out there was hard for me. Seeing my own face and my own video, I'm thinking, bloody hell, look at the state of your face. You know what I mean? Because the channel Sky News interview I gave with the blue top, and I looked at my face and I thought, that was me showing emotion when I'm not using humor to talk about my story like I am with you, right?
Yeah.
That's me just saying it raw. That's how my face looks, right? And I'm not being like, I've hardly slept, right? But I don't mind because I'm happy. I'm buzzing. So not hardly slept. I get about 3-4 hours sleep a night. And then some days, last week was so hectic that there was 2 days where I forgot to eat, but I'm so excited. I'm not actually hungry. So it's not as if I'm sleep depriving myself, right? But people, like anybody that's worried about me, I know a lot of people are worried about me because they're thinking, shit, she's gone all out there coming for her. Don't worry about me. Honestly, I'm tougher than I look, and I am actually enjoying this process. So don't put me on a downer by saying, oh, like, don't do this, saying I don't do that. I'm enjoying this. Support me. I'm gonna change. I've got them scared. That's all I'm saying to you. I've got them scared. Do you know how I know I've got them scared? Because they've not got an action plan. I know they've been having gold meetings. Like the comments that they put online, I'm like, that statement, I'm like, it I've got a few people that are doing investigative journalist pieces, right? All their shit show's being monitored. I'm not daft me. You try to fuck me over, I'm gonna fuck you over. And I'm not doing it for me anymore. Well, I am doing it for me because it's given me a purpose. I didn't have a purpose before, and it makes me happy to have a purpose now. But that's it. That's all I've got to say. But just keep sharing my story, right? If you want the 100% truth, like you'll hear it from me. Yeah. The games have already started, if you can read between the lines, right? The games have already started, but I'm finding this one because it's like a bit of like the ball's in my court and they want the ball back. I'm like, I ain't giving you the ball back. Trust me. You're gonna have to chase me for it. And they're struggling to catch up because they don't know what I'm doing. And because of my personality, I'm like a kid. Like I said to you, I'm like a kid. I'm childish and I'm petty, but this is one fight. I'm a spoiled bloody brat. I am getting my way. Do you understand? I'm getting my way. And if I don't, that's not an option for me. But I can't do this. The stage that I'm at right now, and I can't plead with people. This isn't about me. This isn't about you, right? This is about Greater Manchester Police, okay? Right? If I can expose this, it's going to make it safer for so many people. So many people. Inquiries and investigations. I said to the IOPC, I recorded it, and I did say to her that I've recorded it because I don't give you permission to use this, as I'm not asking for your permission. If you misbehave, I'm using it. What are you going to do? Sue me? She went quiet. I says, I can't. She goes, I want you to trust me. I said, you already lied in your email. Her first email to me was, we're the IOPC, the Independent Office of Police, whatever. I says, there's the first lie, because it's not independent about you. I've got the data to back it up. The entire police complaints procedure is not fit for purpose. And not just for me, because I've been abused in custody, right? Not just because my rapists are police officers, but every rape victim. Look at the conviction rate. Look at how many child grooming victims have failed. We've got a bigger systematic issue here, and anybody who tries to speak up, they're going to try to shut down. So I'm not sure what their next plan of action is, but to be honest, I'm not even scared anymore. The only thing I'm scared of is, right, I'm going to be completely honest, if they manage to shut me up before I get the job done. Once I've got the job done, if I drop dead the next day, I die one happy girl. Just watch my face. Because of me being so cocky and not putting up with this whatever silly nonsense, this has been a collective effort, not just me, but all of you that have shared my story and have kept me trending or whatever, going viral or whatever it was, right? Because of that, we had the station named. I'm going to let you into a secret, so this is a spoiler alert, right? I've managed to get a meeting, right? Now you're listening to this, right? Andy Burnham, Kate Green, Dame Vera Baird, right? The station's named. Look at the progress. I've got a meeting with them all. And like I said, I am going to speak to them, and I'll be nice to them, but I'm going to make it obvious, right? I don't believe a single word you're saying, because you've all collectively covered up. So all this lip service, in the meantime, them sex offenders are still working. And all this long 30 months, all they've done is collectively destroy my evidence. Do you know what I mean? But you know what the evidence is? This. It tells you everything you need to know. The level of cover-up that's involved and the level of cover-up that's still going on indicates that this is a bigger problem.
Well, I just want to thank you so much, Zayna, Iman, for being so honest, so raw, so truthful.
And can I just say something? Can I just say thank you for letting me come on and just let me be myself and not give me rules and like, you can't say this and you can't say that, you can't do this and you can't do that.
Thank you so much for joining me this evening. And I just want to say to any women, any men, any of our listeners that are out there, if this has affected you, you can always get hold of us here at Stamp Out Spiking. And I'm sure that Zayna will only be too pleased to speak to anybody. And as she said,
I will. I'm bombarded at the moment. And for some reason, my Twitter's playing up. I can't follow back, and I can only follow. And I paid for a bloody blue tick. They've had me off. Do you know what I mean? But my friend's made me a LinkedIn, right? So it's going to take me a couple of days to work out how to use it. So yeah. Next place to find me is LinkedIn. But like I said, I'm not going anywhere because my case is ongoing. So the media interest is going to be like that. But in the meantime, I've got to keep you guys pushing me just to help me get them. I promise you, if you knew what I knew, right? They're crumbling, headless chickens. And is your podcast like, am I allowed to like be myself self?
Yeah.
Right, okay. Right. So one of my memories, right, in the early days, and you can draw your own conclusion, but I still don't know what exactly I mean by that. And I go to my friend when I came out of hospital, I've got them by the balls. And what are you talking about? I says, I haven't got a clue. I've got them by the balls. So I named, right. So I make every data that I get, I print, scan, upload onto a USB stick. That's how much of a bunny boiler I am with all the data, yeah, that I've collated. Right. So I don't keep anything at home, GMP. Gotta just put that in line. No, honestly, you'd be surprised at the stories I've heard. I've been coached quite well. And because I know how low they've stooped, I won't put anything past them. Okay. Right. So I using my USB stick, got them by the balls. And then when I've had to like meet media personnel, and I'm like, please ignore that bit. And I'm hiding it. I'm like, quite literally, people, I'm not even exaggerating. I've still got them by the balls, just not literally this time. Right. Right. You've got to laugh. And I'm telling you, people, like when you've been through trauma, the best way to process it is, right. I'm not saying like laugh about what's happened because it's not funny, but do you, right? Do what works for you. If you need to
Yeah.
stay in bed, stay in bed. If you need to cry, cry, right? Don't let other people tell you how you should do your journey. I'm doing my journey my way. It might work, it might not work, but touch wood is doing all right with everybody's support. So please keep supporting me. Honestly, I've got this dream. Do you know what my biggest dream is? To take them down monumental style. Why would I hate them so much? Your podcast, I've been able to be myself, giddy and happy. This is my normal personality. But it's just, I feel like there's a dark cloud and they've like I said, like sucked the life out of me. And then when you look at my eyes, I'm just dead. But what brings the sparkle back is like, I'm like, oh my God, look what they've done now. They're so stupid. And then when I realize when people say to me, your story's still going strong, and do you know how I can sense that it's still going strong? I just look at my phone and I can't keep up with anything. So I'm not being ignorant, people. I promise you, I'm working so hard in the background. I'm working so hard in the background. And look, please don't try to scare me and put me off. Right. Just share me videos. That's it. Nothing else. Leave the rest to me. I'm willing to take the gamble because I'm confident with what I know. Like I said, if I fail, it won't because I've not tried. And I'm not just doing it for me. I'm doing it for to prevent future victims or like the ones I've already. I think somebody showed me one of the TikToks that I'd thingied, and they showed me the screenshot, the comment, because apparently there's comments underneath. And it said, like I said, that experience where somebody said, I remember I'd been arrested for something, and I remember waking up in the cell and I couldn't remember anything, but I just felt weird. So, man, come on, people are resonating with me for a reason. We've got a bit of a problem there. Anyway, I've talked too long. How long have we been on this podcast? No one's going to bloody listen this long, are they?
Quite a while. Quite a while. Well, do you know what I'm going to do, Zayna? I am just going to finish this recording and I'm going to put it out as it is because I'm a real life girl. You're a real life
Right,
girl.
can you just say, right, I don't know. I want to word it so people know, because I don't want somebody watching it. Because do you know how GMP are trying to discredit me by saying I'm insane? Right, my personality. I've had to suppress my personality, and what's been so refreshing, right, where I've been able to just be myself, and there's no restrictions, and I don't have to care what, and people can receive it how they want. But like I said, Google me name and I apologize for what you've got to see. Right. But that's not even the worst of it. You see the other footage. You just can't put out all the footage. People would switch off. They're probably going to switch off. They're probably not even going to get this far. But just put spoiler alerts at the end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, just right. Do you know what? Just to keep everyone's attention, just say spoiler alerts. Because I have gave some spoiler alerts. And the reason I've gave some spoiler alerts is right. I've made some demands, not demands, I've made some requests for the meeting that I've got with the top dogs. And it's going to be interesting to see what their response is. And if it's not what I like, I'm going to bloody post it because there's nothing they can do about it. And if they cancel on me, I'm going to post it. Every time they annoy me, I'm going to put it somewhere. I don't care. I don't care.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well, you've heard it tonight, everybody. This is Zayna Iman. We,
Thank you. If you got this far, thank you.
yeah, if you've listened to us all the way,
Go on.
thank you so much. And I just want to
No.
say again, anybody out there that this has affected, please always get in contact with us. Our door is always open. Personally, I've been fighting against this crime for over 20 years. I got spiked many years ago when I was living in Mexico. Someone tried to spike me years before that when I was in Australia. I know this crime has been going on since 1989 was when I first had my first inkling to it. And this, as I've said, is got to be one of the worst cases ever.